Good evening, respected members, and hello, dear students. Hi, this is CA Pratik. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, GST and Customs Act Fun Learning. Now, today I'm going to give you one good news which is being proposed in Union Budget 2021. There was havoc in market regarding interest. Now, Union Budget clarifies interest at the rate of 18% as per Section 50 of the CGST Act. Whether it will be applicable on gross or net is finally settled in Union Budget 21. Okay, so I've divided this into three parts. First, let me explain you what this interest is there on GST liability. Second part, what was proposed in 31st GST Council meeting. And finally, how this dispute is finally going to be settled in Union Budget 2021. So let us begin today's topic. The first point, Section 50 of the CGST Act 2017. Suppose I am a registered person. During the month of October 18, I purchased goods for rupees 1 lakh. I paid GST of 18,000. So my input tax credit is 18,000 rupees. Now during the same month, I had sold goods of how much? Say rupees 3 lakh. On that 3 lakh, I must have collected GST 3 lakh into 18%. My GST liability was 54,000. So my gross tax liability was how much? 54,000. My input tax credit during the same month was how much? 18,000. So how much I must have paid through my electronic cash ledger? 54 minus 18, 36,000. Okay, so I must have paid how much? 36,000. Now what happened? I did not have working capital. There was shortage of funds. Yaar, paise nahi the. So I could not file GSTR 3B for the month of October 18. I could not pay this 36,000. What happened? I become subjected, liable to interest under Section 50. 18% interest lagega. But one query. I have one query for all of you. This interest which I just now said under Section 50 at the rate of 18%, will it be applicable on gross tax liability prior to ITC 54,000 or on net tax liability after input tax credit 36,000? On what amount interest is applicable? Let us understand. Interest at the rate of 18% per annum, it was applicable on gross tax liability, not after ITC. There were some judgments, high court judgment, etc. They were saying interest at the rate of 18% is applicable on gross tax liability. पूरे 54,000 पे interest लगेगा, ITC नहीं मिलेगा. So what happened in this case? The taxpayers were afraid prior to offsetting input tax credits के पहले ही आपको interest लग जाएगा. Taxpayers were frustrated, angry that why I'm required to pay interest on gross tax liability. That's why a proposal was recommended in 31st of GST Council meeting. कब हुई थी? 22nd December 2018. There was one proposal which suggested, which said that interest, ये जो 18% है under Section 50, it shall be applicable on net tax liability, and most important, it shall be applicable what? Retrospectively. जब से GST इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ 1st July 17, तब से net tax पे ही लगेगा. So this proposal came. So finally the taxpayers were happy that there was some light at the end of the tunnel, that interest shall be applicable now on net cash liability or net GST liability, which you pay from your electronic cash ledger. But what happened? This provision, ये जो बात हुई थी 31st GST Council meeting में, उसके लिए एक provision आया था, Section 50 subsection 1. What happened? Listen, this provision was introduced stating that interest interest अगर आपने GST 3B delay भरा तो interest shall be payable on net cash liability. Agreed. But how? The effect will be prospectively. Not from 1st July 17. Retrospective nahi. Effect will be prospectively from 1st of September 2020. So जो proposal हुआ था 31st GST Council meeting, it didn't come out. It came prospectively. Taxpayers were afraid that for earlier taxpayer period from July 17 to September 20, they shall be required to pay GST on gross tax liability. So this was a havoc in market everywhere. That proposal was something else. Proviso said something else. Now what happened? In Union Budget 21-22, finally in Union Budget itself 21-22, it is proposed that this interest at the rate of 18% under Section 50 shall be applicable only on net cash liability, net GST liability, that also retrospectively with effect from 1st of July 2017. So finally, in the budget, not only in GST Council meeting, now in the budget they have said this, it is proposed. So now there won't be any issue. अब आपको interest applicable होगा only on net cash liability and retrospectively. Correct? So find an example. Suppose I have purchased goods for 1 lakh. ITC is 18,000 and I sold goods for 3 lakh. GST liability is 54,000. So what is my gross tax liability? 54,000. What is my input tax credit on it? 18,000. How much I have paid through my electronic cash ledger? Only 36,000. Now after this proposal from Union Budget, it is crystal clear that interest shall be applicable only on net cash liability. जो आप electronic cash ledger से offset करते हो इसी पे. Clear? But there are few FAQs. Once when someone is asking me, this sir is asking me one query, that I agree that interest applicable from net cash liability is proposed in Union Budget 21-22. Sorry, but what if taxpayers have paid interest on gross tax liability? Already they have already paid for earlier tax period. The Union Budget to came now. अगर earlier tax period के लिए, if this professor, if this sir have already paid GST on gross tax liability, what is the solution? There is a solution. See, what is the solution? This is change is proposed retrospectively. Am I right? This change is proposed retrospectively with effect from 1st July. So whatever interest you have paid on gross tax liability, you can seek refund for it. आप refund ले सकते हो. In refund, select others and claim for refund. Okay. One more query, one more FAQ for this change. See what happened. I not this time there is no deal in GST 3B. Some demand is raised, show cause notice was there, something was there. So demand is raised on me under section 73 non-fraud cases, or demand is raised under section 74 of the CGST Act, some fraud cases. The demand is raised on me. Demand was 10 lakh rupees. Now fortunately, I had in my electronic credit ledger 8 lakh rupees and I had my electronic cash ledger 2 lakh rupees. So I had this balance in both the ledgers, 2 lakh rupees in electronic cash. So this 10 lakh, I paid 8 lakh through my credit ledger and 2 lakh through my cash ledger. My query to all of you, taxpayers have paid only 2 lakh through cash ledger. Will interest under section 50, 18%, it shall be applicable on gross tax, that is 10 lakh, or on net tax, that is only 2 lakh. See the answer. See, if you have issued notice or if there is any demand under section 73 or 74, then you are liable to pay interest on gross tax liability. ठीक है, आपको पूरे, ये तो सिर्फ 3B आपने डिले किया हो, माइनर मिस्टेक्स करके आप सेल्फ वॉलंटरी पे कर रहे हो, देन इंटरेस्ट इज एप्लीकेबल ऑन नेट कैश. But if there is a demand or show cause notice, then interest is applicable on gross tax liability. Clear? Okay. So this was today's update. I will keep sharing Union Budget updates very soon with all the details, all the lectures coming on. Just one important announcement for all of you.